You want to do one? Well,
Okay, guys.
get all the dummies out. That's just for the staff. It's
just for them. I mean, those that didn't.
Barely, though, I think it's just a connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. One
Toss
house,
it to you.
one.
There we go.
Thanks.
Oh, shit, yeah, okay, oh, gosh. Oh, yeah, what am I gonna sing in tap dance and take notes?
You know, there'll be one place or one space or another. I'm gonna give her the choice since she has such a small group. I was thinking upstairs with carpeting would be.
All right. All right,
So you'll have one place or another.
all right, so
Okay.
we could go back to 11?
Yeah.
All right, back to 11.
Okay.
Forget about Wednesday.
Okay, guys.
Yeah.
How do we get started with recording? We'll open up the meeting. Did everybody see Peg's minutes from the last meeting?
Yes,
I'm looking for a motion to accept her minutes from last meeting.
So moved.
thank you,
Second,
Second.
thank you.
all in favor?
I,
Aye. Very good. I thought what we could cover first is just, we went to the article, we read the board meeting last week. And Dave and I were there. And then also I was at the CP, at the conservation meeting. And their article. So Dave, I don't know, what was your opinion on it? We're close to getting our article there.
Yeah, I think, has the board heard anything from Karen?
I mean,
I'll understand what the messages do first. So I'll work on them tonight and tomorrow.
I would just send Laura an email with just a basic one. Actually, I sent her one this morning.
I was assuming we should have the original written by.
Yeah.
The turn it in, so we didn't have to play with that, but.
Okay, so ours will be in there by the 14th. And then there was two dependent ones that went through the CPA, which was for the trails, a study for the trails, and also the recreation facility. In the back of the presentation that I hand you, it describes what we're doing. We're doing two pickleball, two bocce, one bocce and two shuffleboards, along with a basketball court. The basketball court was requested by Parks and Rec because they need a place for it. They don't have it, and they're going to fund it. Okay. So the funding's coming from a different source. There are two warrants that are not tied to this. If this warrant passes or article passes, those two will come up for motion, and they're independent articles. And hopefully, we're getting funding from CPA. Basically, I'd like to use that money that we all pay. That's in the kitty for recreational facilities, not only for the town, for the senior center, but for the town. Dan indicated he's got a scheduling system that he uses that he could bring all those courts up on. He could block out time for the senior center if we wanted something during the day, but he could manage the schedules for the rest of the time through whatever reservation system he has. It's an online system. So that's where we're at with the article. And they have a meeting tomorrow night, which we'll probably all be at anyway. We'll make sure that we have our article there or presented or some facsimile.
You should have a placeholder there, just because I sent her one this morning.
I saw one this 14th day.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about it.
So with that CPA funding, if the recreation aspects pass, CPA funding is going to pay for the groundwork and the installation.
that's our understanding. That's our understanding.
We're going to help in our excavation because it's right beside the building. So when we flatten
Well,
out,
I think that CPA money should also help fund some engineering. I don't see any place.
I don't have the detail yet. You don't have it there.
That's marking it out, and we're gonna find out, it's gonna be a little tricky to get some level spots on the site.
We did have B&L work with Mike Petrovic. And they did come up with a location and site where it would be flat next to the building on the, not facing the roadside. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. We have to be careful. Remember, this is primarily a senior center. So, senior, when we're in there.
I like that.
shouldn't be bothered by noise. I get a feeling this is gonna be a very busy spot. So I think the design of it, I'm all for it, but I think we should take our time and decide just where those spots are gonna go.
That's a good point.
We can bring that up, and we can bring that up with Mike as well. Because Mike Dean and Mike Petrovic.
There's also the parking involved.
The basketball courts are. The pickleball is a high demand in general.
Do we have cameras playing this in this house?
And are they gonna have lighting too?
Yes.
Obviously with that much activity, we want some,
Yeah, I think we're gonna have full camera settings on.
yeah, we're gonna need that. We should make sure with that, just in a bit, so the police department doesn't need to add it. That's a problem.
To go back to Mike though, we did not, I was at that meeting too, we did not ask specifically those questions. Now, maybe we should have.
CPA.
Yeah. And they said that there were funds available and they were gonna be used for this, but we didn't get down to the,
They're leveraging off of what the architect, our architect, indicated these prices to them. Based on the excavation that he worked with the engineering company.
but what he's probably thinking, and Mike's point is well taken, because I know for a fact pickleball drives some people insane with the constant click, 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 click. And so you do have to think about where it's positioned, and that might not be where the architect has it positioned.
Right, since this is gonna be a lit up court, that means people have an opportunity to play into the night. And again, what I'm saying is we don't want loud noises if we have activities going on inside.
And you wouldn't want,
And you can't, because it's gonna be basically a public park. You can't say, oh, nobody can use that now. It's like going up to the lake and saying, oh, you guys shut down the basketball court.
I'll bring that up and see what,
It's just something
good point.
that we should be aware of. Not down the road go, boy, how come we didn't think of that?
Yep, that's a very good.
Because we didn't think of it.
We didn't.
So just a note, I mean, I think you can run hours, on parks and things like that, and that, nobody's supposed to be there after certain, hours, so just keep
Well-
that would be an option.
Yeah, I agree with you, Lonnie. I think, Dan was gonna put it in his system, which I think he has an hours for reservations for use.
That's it for the basketball, he said he was using
We could
that.
do that for pickleball.
Can do it, yeah.
And we
Shuffleboard.
probably can arrange some kind of lighting so that the lighting doesn't work out. Unless you have an overlay.
Again, I'm all for it. And we can
More details.
utilize the groundwork to make in back and on the sides of this building to our advantage. It's also gonna be parking for this, not the senior center parking.
Well, wait a minute. The road, you don't have the road going all the way down. We have the road like stopping.
Well, I think we're gonna see that's gonna change a little bit with this activity here.
All right.
And depending on where we go.
The road goes around all the way to the back of the building. It goes around the building, so
All right.
it does, we move past this area. But your parking spots may be valid.
Because I don't think we put any in
I don't know that I have a parking spot on that hand that I gave you. Good point, though, Mike. Excellent. Any other? No.
How many do you think we need?
We can, I don't know.
I'm sure the parks can probably size it by the courts they have now, there should be
Yeah.
kind of like we have a ratio here for the parking lot. If we had more grass and typically spots like.
Here's an earlier rendition we can pass around. The road does go all the way around it. And there's parking on that side over there.
Well, there has to be parking so people can come in through the bottom if they're using.
Yeah, it
that
goes all the way
road.
around. But wait, that's still a good question. We need to make sure we have that.
But that is senior center traffic that goes all the way in the building, so it's not like it's separate, it's,
No.
they're going into the complex and they're gonna be creating more traffic going around. So we need to evaluate that too, depending on how much traffic's gonna go in.
And I certainly don't want to take away any of the scenic vista. Yeah, looking up, out the back of the building, down the slope towards Oakdale. That's a beautiful, that's gonna, you'll see, be a very beautiful scene.
So the houses and the stores going.
Well,
We'll deal with that when we deal with that.
One at a time.
I mean, that's our life.
Because we've been at that meeting too.
One at a time. We don't want to mix it all together.
but that, again, as a town, we should have some control over how those buildings are gonna look in the commercial zone. If we think about it. On
We
that
can.
end of it.
Yeah, Elaine has been working.
They would have only specified no steel building, those, hey, architecture. How they gonna look?
Okay.
We'll take those actions. I'll follow up to the architect, we'll put that in the grinder.
Okay.
We may need to look at adjusting, and we'll go back to the conservation group if we have to. Adjust what they put in their articles. We still have time to adjust the Monday, I think, don't we? They finalize it by the 24th.
Yeah.
We may want to buffer it a little bit. Okay,
I think the wall's become pretty big, so we might get a lot of traffic down.
I think you just go watch a senior center, never mind what they're posting down the road, deal with that later.
Yeah.
Just trying to get the senior center.
that's what the key thing, we want to do that.
Right, but in getting it passed, it's a senior and community center, so we have to offer the perks.
Well, I know that, I'm talking
We
about
just gotta design
other
it.
buildings, you're talking about. other
Okay, no, he
buildings.
was talking about,
Pickleball, yeah, we just gotta design it properly, because I hate to see an ingest of traffic going back there, and the thing is, it's.
Yeah.
Now, I was even on the right here, Blackstone Street, I was listening, they were talking pickleball tournaments on the radio, so I mean, it's pretty big. I played it, and like you played, right?
Oh, yeah.
You two played together, right?
I'm okay.
You're talking about the board meeting?
I don't know that answer. How many parking places?
How many picks do we have now?
I didn't count them. I don't recall.
I don't know if they've defined. They don't.
They had, I've got a rendition that it's a larger one than. They'll bring us up to another topic. But so noted, we'll work on that. And I'll give Ann a heads up and also Dan. And we're all in support of this.
So
We're down to that stretch. A lot of details here, but to another stretch of communications. And I'd like to turn probably the meeting over to Peg and just collectively talk
sure,
about communications.
this is my team here. This is
The
my
team's over there. The meeting is on the 3rd, the one we got to nail, 2/3 majority. Then on the 14th is the ballot vote. So we got to hit both of those. All you need is one more than just need one there. One over.
Yes, one more thing.
One more thing.
So, sorry, say that again, about the votes?
We have two votes. We have the town meeting.
Yeah.
We need 2/3 majority to pass the 13.2. And then when you have the open vote,
The ballot.
Ballot.
Just need one more thing.
you just need one more than, you just need majority.
Yeah, oh, I thought you said you only need one of those.
No.
We just need
First
one
one's gonna
vote.
be the house.
We need one.
Just say, but there is a catch there. So the town meeting is gonna be before the ballot. If it fails a town meeting and passes a ballot, you can go back to town meeting and ask for the money again.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes,
Yeah, that's been done before,
oh, the schools.
yes. Is it 2 or 3
And one
times?
day-
Yeah, I remember
But if
that.
it passes a town meeting and fails at the ballot,
It happened a couple of times.
so they're a week, 2 weeks apart, a week apart, I think 9 days.
Yeah, the 3rd and the 14th.
Yeah, something.
So, I forgot, I didn't realize that. Okay, that's a good point.
Didn't really-
But that really ties into, what Peg, Tom, and Karen, and all of us have a responsibility to get the message out. I'm hitting my neighbors, I'm hitting friends. What do you think about this? Do you know about it? I'm hitting my daughter and her network. I'd urge you all to do that. Are we ready, Peg?
Yes, I am.
I'll take notes while you're talking. How's that?
No, it's okay. because I remember what I said. Anyway, we've been trying to, hit as many, places as we can. Bill had come up with a master list of, communication schedule.
It's in your packet.
It's in the packet, and Bill and I did one presentation already. And Bill did one just kind of spur of the moment. People were coming into the center to see Jean Berthold do her tax thing. And so, Bill happened to still be at the center, and he did it. I can say, the first one we did, I thought they were a very good audience, you know. I didn't get the feeling that they were behind us. I really didn't. You said one guy was nodding his head, but I just didn't get that sensation that they were on board.
I think honestly, for a lot of these people, it's new to them. You know, but yes, there was one
But
gentleman that was.
The reason why we picked them is because they are already using the center. So they already know the constraints that they're dealing with, never mind us. So we thought, well, this might be a good start, get our feet wet. And we have another one tomorrow. We have another one tomorrow afternoon. The second thing is I've been updating the Mendon Senior Center Facebook page with all the activities, everything that's happening. We're taking photos, we're posting them. Karen has been mimicking that on the Mendon page, the Mendon Bulletin page. And we had talked about doing a straw poll, talked about doing it. Karen put that on, she put that on 3 sites. She put it on the Mendon page, the Bulletin, the Mendon Moms and Dads, and the Mendon Upton Community Board.
Right.
Right. So we've been kind of monitoring it. I've only looked at it twice today. I don't know how many times you looked at it.
Quite a bit.
I will tell you.
We're doing good though.
Yeah, we're doing good. The good thing is when people vote, you can click on that and you can see the names as to who voted.
I've talked to other people around town. The first thing they ask is how much money is it gonna
Right.
cost for 1,000 on the campus?
So just so everybody here knows, you want to tell them what that straw poll question?
It said, would you back the warrant? Karen wrote it out. Would you? I suppose I can go on my phone and find it.
So what's it gonna cost me?
Yeah, there's Wi-Fi here.
It's a key
I mean,
question.
I just sent it out. You probably sent it out.
What time?
Maybe an hour ago.
Josie.
Via my email.
Okay. That's being my husband. Oh, all right, okay. Let's see, I've almost got it. Would you be likely to vote in favor of the proposed new Mendon Senior and Community Center at the annual town meeting on May 3rd? We've got yeses, nos, and not sure. But if you click on yes, you'll see all the names of the people that voted yes. And that doesn't mean they'll do it when they come, but there's.
You'll see it, we all see it.
Well, I think you can see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm not the administrator.
Gotcha.
Right now, it's 24-9. 24 yeses and 9 no.
I don't know if you want to put the names,
Right.
they should just have a number, never mind.
Well, it's just how it works.
That's on Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah, Facebook is Facebook. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay.
So the only people that are voting are people who are on Facebook, but this kind of gives us an idea.
Okay.
And also, if they ask questions, we're trying to answer them. Karen's
Right.
trying to answer it, I'm trying to answer them.
I mean, that's a third of town meeting right there, so.
What we have to do is we were at the Friends meeting on Monday, we talked it up, but they need to even like get on the phone with their friends. We said, don't anybody miss the lack of a ride, you know, we're really trying to get them there. It'd be nice if we were early on the warrant.
Take all those yeses off the drive, all that.
Who's got the minibus?
Now, went there.
Driving.
Below the nose.
Yes, this is the Mendon Mass one. She did the Mendon Upton Community Board,
Yeah.
but she asked specifically for Mendon people.
Yeah.
And
Mendon moms and dads.
Mendon moms and dads.
Gotcha.
Which is a pretty popular.
Yeah, that's it.
And, you know, they're not necessarily seniors on it. Not, you know, let's say grandparents or something like that.
Are the numbers that you gave us from all 3 or just from?
No.
Just from one.
This is
site.
just from
It's
one
24 and
So are you gonna be able to make sure you don't see I mean, it's not statistical, but you also want to make sure you're seeing the same people vote across three and.
Right,
Yeah.
we'll kind of, Karen and I have been kind of like watching this, but she put it on yesterday, I think. Well, I think it was yesterday after the Friends meeting.
Yeah.
She was at the Friends meeting talking as well. But, yeah, so there's 3 sites. We've been doing that. So the other thing we did is, I did contact, Mark Bucino. Mark Bucino, about the Lions billboard. It's actually in use with their own Lions celebration. So it's gonna miss the first one, but he's gonna put it up for the second one. It's gonna run from 418 to 425. I was given 4 lines, 35 characters per line, so I did come up with something. I sent it out to both my buddies here and it seemed to fly, so he's gonna put that up on the 18th of April. Amy has contacted ABMI to come down and video the open meetings.
Starting next week.
Yeah, so we did that, and Dan Byer worked with us on the flyer, and it's on the Mendon, Mass town page.
So would the plan be to stay with doing this at the senior center?
Well, it should be open for discussion. We can discuss that. We can discuss that, because we haven't had a chance to meet as a committee.
Is there an opportunity to record on Teams, like ABMI, and have it posted, available? Just another avenue, the same meeting that ABMI does? Can we just record something on, through Teams somehow?
Yeah.
And just so we post the video like we do every other meeting we do?
Oh, sure. So you're gonna have, the cable company's gonna run a live television feed?
No.
No, it's gonna be recorded and then shown after
Where are you gonna record it?
at the senior center.
Okay,
They'll bring in their equipment like they usually do for some of our functions. They come in and they,
yeah,
We just piggyback that recording.
we should be able yeah, if you could actually have whoever's coming, reach out to me and I'll coordinate with them to
okay.
make that connection and we'll get together to make sure we.
Teams, okay.
All right, his name is Tyler.
I can do that.
You're gonna do that? Okay, thank you.
One of the things that came up in conversation was that we got the venue was potentially, do we also want to try to take advantage of remote participation? Which I know currently the senior center wouldn't have that. So the venue would have to shift to a location, ideally, I would think the upper town hall to accommodate those who do want to come. Plus it has the remote participation option. If we're just looking to get folks just to come in, senior center is fine, and we can record it via cable. And then post it out of the cable and probably do a rebroadcast.
We can see the good in both because part of our mission is to get people in who have never been in the senior center and have them realize how small it actually is. That is a good benefit, but to reach more people. But if we're reaching people who have never stepped foot in the center, they don't have any idea how small the center is. It's kind of deceiving when you drive by, I think.
Cub Scouts are there, the membership meeting is there tonight for the first time, and they were surprised.
How small it was? Well, what do people think? We're open to suggestions. Do you think, Tom's suggestion?
I think just live and then they can watch the recording.
I mean, if they ask any questions, we'll.
Just some encouragement. I mean, maybe we do a second one, are we doing 2 or just 1?
Yes, we're doing one in March,
Did you
and that's
want
in
to
the
do?
daytime, and the one in April is in the evening. People will work.
So maybe do the daytime Zoom, so people can work in Zoom in if they want, and then nighttime. People around at night, try to force them to come in.
Lonnie, if you're gonna connect with the ABI guy, you have a Teams meeting going.
Might find it beneficial to Zoom in.
As well as we'll record it on Teams as well as however they're recording it. And then that will translate to, we can do it to a YouTube and then link it on the website or to whatever social media.
I was just wondering, if while they're doing the record, if you have a live team session up,
Yep.
and someone up, in the past, we had someone monitor the
Sure.
line.
There's questions that pop up. We'll get them.
Questions came in through the lines, a simultaneous recording, Teams, as long as we have a Teams monitor watching the,
Yeah, we're gonna need a computer there.
Yeah.
Any one of us.
so we could, that would be, if you will, somewhat of a live meeting. People could view it, record it, and ask questions. It works.
As long as you know.
What materials are you covering in this? Like, how does this session run? Like, when you hold this, what are you covering? Is it just the
We're gonna
deck that
cover-
you did, or is it?
It's gonna be a new deck. It's
Well-
gonna have, well,
We were trying to get a pretty good,
Rendering.
picture, a rendition. So that people could see the whole picture, kind of like have that moment, like, oh, yeah, this looks like it would be nice for the town and nice for the kids and community groups. We thought we would go over, we're working on some FAQs, frequently asked questions. We're taking the lead from the Upton people that just did the library in their center. We have some comparison, but not exactly because it's 2 in 1 and ours is just single, but size wise, it's comparable. We've had the handouts, we've been doing the handouts.
we'll have a handout sheet for everyone.
Yeah.
We're gonna rework the magnitude of these presentations, to step them through some historical. Take it right through the whole process. I think we should probably let people know we looked at a bunch of different sites.
But in a concise way though, because
So-
I don't want to get bogged down on the 4. In other words, yes, we had 4 choices and they were all, like, I always tell them, it was all free land.
It's really, I think we need to go, it's an abbreviated form of what we did to the select board, correct data.
They're gonna want numbers.
Yes.
So numbers.
Yeah. You want to know how much it's gonna cost.
Or want to give direction on what they think the numbers. I think the last time at the police station was Kim who made the decision on how to bond. I don't think the board did. I'm sure the board gave a direction behind the scenes, but there was never a meeting for it.
I mean, the only information I would give them is what Jody sent Phil. Okay?
Yeah, I just got
So
the,
one,
That's a
one,
lot.
the house is worth
I would go to Jody and it's gonna go, the one on the upper left-hand corner, I believe, which is a 30-year equal principle.
Okay.
and then
That's
there's
her.
a
she's
level
thinking.
debt beside it too as well.
Yeah, but I think the one, based on the conversation today, I think she's gonna probably recommend.
It's a debt exclusion, right?
Yeah.
I would recommend the one I pick up, I think, but that's what's offside.
All right, so are
That's
we
just gonna
going,
give us more flexibility down the road to balance our debt payments.
all right, so are we then going to,
We'll have
probably make a big, copy of that with Jody, where your house is worth 100,000, 200,000 up to,
Yeah, I literally just got this a little,
that's okay, that's all right.
what she has, 100,000, 250,000, but 500,000, all the way up to $1 million. And it ranges from $59 for 100,000, so if you have a piece of dirt. If you have $1 million, it's,
You bet my house?
If you want to leave out the high.
I think she said the average was like
That's a piece of dirt.
661 or something.
this is very much what we saw before, $750,000 assessed value is $442.50.
And that's a year?
That's a year. So
And somebody did say that, they said it would, look, you're looking at $300,
$100,000 a year.
$300 a year.
And your pricing seniors.
And you're pricing seniors, yeah, that's what was one of the comments.
You're looking at what was the question? Answer.
Somebody, when they were doing the poll, said, by the way, you're looking at a $300 increase in your taxes. And this is going to price seniors out of their home.
That's what a lot of people are saying.
One person.
Just one person.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword though, because
And they say the same
if you're
thing.
$300, you're in a $600,000 house, so.
the other thing,
I mean, if you divide it by 12 or you divide it by 4.
But I'm still, you're in a $600,000 house, so.
I have a hard time that $300 a year.
It's gonna price you in a
Price
$600,000
you up.
house.
That was the straw that broke the camel's back. I
That's
understand.
not, but they're saying everything else is going, everything else.
But you should plan,
What's gonna go
so,
up?
yeah, your tax is gonna go up in every town and community. That's
They all do.
2.5% a year.
Exactly what I
It's gonna go up.
it all
Yeah,
goes.
what?
This
So,
was,
Well, the other part of the question here too, I think that some folks might ask, in addition to this project, potentially coming forward from a capital perspective, what other projects would the town be looking at that might be of equal or greater need that then could also impact the tax base, whether it be by debt exclusion or other.
I think that's a strategic plan that maybe the board can answer. The whole purpose of doing the building at this point is because we're filling a gap from debt. So you want to keep level debt services across the board. So I guess this is the filling gap. This is a need we have now. There's going to be gaps in the future. that's when you fill all the needs. So when the next need comes about, you fill in that gap again. So hopefully
Look at that
this
coming
is keep level deficit. We,
There is something coming on.
this staging, it's all been
Is it gonna
staged.
happen?
Yeah,
I think
we always have stuff coming
There'll
on.
be a net of you, I mean, you're, just say it's, our debt load's like $1 million this current year.
Yeah.
You know, if you take that, you're gonna add, you know, like 800,000 to it, but we're dropping 300,000, you know what I mean? So there'll be a net effect, it's gonna increase.
We're phasing out projects. I mean, the police station, the school
Yeah.
dropped off, we went in.
Yeah.
You didn't see a difference in your debt. Same thing. Now we're 8 years
Yeah.
down the
I
road.
understand,
You know?
people ask these questions. well,
Yeah,
I
no,
understand.
those numbers will include a view of a net increase versus a total increase. So
That's
while that is
a net increase.
$400 or $300 for a $600,000 house, it's probably gonna be somewhere in the neighborhood of a $200 net increase because we're dropping some debt.
Yeah.
Placing. Sure. So that's still being run. I think Jody's gonna do that next.
And that may be a good message to be able to
Mhm.
pass along in the process of.
Well, by the time we do our first open house, which is not
From
far
Friday.
away, we need to know it.
Well, I mean, those are good, those are actually real numbers.
Yeah.
But that's what we talked about before with, you know, sort of,
If I look at the level of debt, which is the column on the second box over.
Yeah.
That brings it down from 442 to 375.
right, but it's more the outer years of a 30-year
Yeah.
thing where we're gonna see a bigger drop off for later capital projects.
Yes.
So that's probably why she's leaning to the upper left, I think. But
I
the other
think
thing
it's-
is, she's gonna reprocess and rework go back in.
We need an example where we go and say, this is what. How your X amount of dollars is like X amount of dollars.
It's in mine.
We do not use a house value. Use 475. Like you said, somebody threw out, well, it's gonna price the seniors right out of town. I gotta believe most seniors that live in town grew up in town. And they don't have the McMansions or brand new homes. They have older homes. Like where I live right here, North Street, that's an older home. It's worth $450. That's what I'm looking at.
Right, so that's why we have a range of 100 up to the McMansions to
Right.
mention.
But when we
And
talk,
we speak of the whole community.
right, but when,
Find your slot.
right, exactly. But if we use one as an example,
Yeah.
you throw out 450, 475 instead of 600,000.
Did you the average house in town?
She said it was 661 or something
661.
like that. She had
The
said.
average house?
Yeah.
That's what Jody had said.
That's what they use in the tax recap. That's
And
fine.
I actually think that's a low average. So the LS has a little higher.
But to Mike's point, use a number that makes it small.
But if you think about McMansions, it's your higher income people buying the big mansions.
I mean, the reality is, it is what it is. You can't really hide what it's gonna be, you know, and I think being open and honest and explain sort of the netting out of
Exactly,
debt being dropped off. Have an honest discussion.
exactly.
In our first major open house, which is in the 20, whatever it is, 23rd, we need to have an explanation. Be able to answer that question.
Which question?
What's it gonna impact on the tax rate?
Well, that, you
Yeah.
can answer that question with what you got today.
I guess I need to practice the talk speak.
Right, we get to, you should get, Joey's, I think, off next week. I know she's out of the office, so we should catch up with it this week.
Want to make sure, and I think your point's well taken, because the smaller houses, the people who've been here for a long time.
So what you're saying then, just so that I understand it, is that the number that Jody gave us, that's the number before the debt reduction.
Yeah, that's the impact of the 13.2 million borrowing for the senior center in total.
In total, but then, because we have some debt that's falling off.
Right.
That's gotta bring it down a little bit.
Right, and I think the thing, that's a separate warrant article. So the communication, we gotta make sure people understand, yeah, you can pass a senior center, but there's another warrant article, it's like right underneath it. You wanna pass that too, to decrease the impact to your taxes. So we pick up the 343.
Is anybody working on it? You only have 2 or 3 days to do. 2 days.
That's not a warrant, for us, that's a warrant article.
Yeah, no, I think that's already on there. I think there's a placeholder already on the warrant.
How many things are on the warrant, do you know?
30 some.
34.
Do you know where we are in that?
The order is not set yet.
Is it a roulette wheel?
Well, right now, the senior center wasn't on it at all, so that was.
Yeah.
We gotta get that in there. But it made.
They saved me last
No,
week.
the order of the warrant is really
Yeah.
important.
Yes.
So I just made a note based on your earlier comment, is to try to bring the senior center up, because you could decrease the warrant by a third if it doesn't pass, because there's so many associated
That's right.
articles.
Yeah.
No, but then, and also we're just thinking, I know how some seniors are, they don't want to go out. They won't drive at night, and it starts at 7, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it would be like, well, 7.
Have the bus there.
To May, yeah, it'll be wide open.
Okay. So those numbers we're gonna have to have in our first major open house meeting. And I'll work with you.
Seeing the bus, the driving, doesn't want.
So that 343 you're captured.
Said
There's no
we said
point
we
taking out the
count,
bond.
and we do have the van.
At 26, so you need to catch
Yeah.
in between. So they will go up and down.
Yeah, that's all I understand. I don't want to go up and down.
As long as I have a good understanding of what we're gonna impact this to people.
I don't know if people can understand that, but
I don't want the up and down stuff. I wanna,
I mean, honestly, I think it's a matter of saying, this is your current debt level,
to keep it there. this
to
is what
keep
we
it
have to go.
here. And, we're gonna take the 343 and apply that debt to the senior center. It's really, you're capturing it to apply to the cost of the
Correct.
senior center.
Yeah.
So instead of going up this high, it's going up this, you know what I mean?
that's
You
what
just need
I know. It
So
goes
there's a 343, I know. This
No,
is what
but
I was
that's
trying to talk to Jody about the other day, because she knew.
Right.
So we're capturing the 343. Are we subtracting that from the 13.2? Well, you don't do that because now if that
Right.
passes and the other one doesn't, then, so it gets tricky.
I think,
where you can put all the way to get it passed.
well, I mean, say you capture the 343 first. Pull that in. The other thing too, Jody and we're talking about is just make sure in perpetuity, because Mike kept saying it's a one-time capital exclusion. So when we say one time, the more we want to make sure that this 343 impacts the life of the senior center debt schedule.
Yeah.
Which was my understanding, but more Mike said one time. Yeah, it's
Well, hopefully tomorrow night's meeting, there'll be a little more clarity.
not on this. I think this is something to take offline to make sure we understand Jody and folks intend to borrow and build a picture for you.
Full picture.
Yeah.
And the articles need to be in line by Thursday.
Articles are fine. We got placeholders. We can work on everything, and then emotions, the really important one, because that has the details, the numbers.
Chief, do you think it's possible to have a police presence for those 2 open houses in case people have to park across the street?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 322 at 1 PM. It'll be in the notes anyway, and it's 424 at 6:30. It's like 6:30 to 7:30.
For one April Fools, I know.
You wish. 424,
6 PM.
6:30 to 7:30. And the March 22nd is 1 to 2.
I will take it.
Thank you. And I said already that Dan Byer had put something on the Mendon Mass page. He was very helpful with
Yeah.
that, coming up with the banner to put on there.
Yep, worked out well. So that's when you go to the town, one of those rotating ones. That's there, so it's there so everybody can see it.
And if you go into our page, there's stuff there too.
Uh,
We still haven't made a decision whether the committee should have a Facebook page or not, or just keep it the way we have now with the Mendon Bulletin, the Senior Center, the Friends of the Senior Center, and I mean, sometimes you give people too much information.
They get lost.
Go get it.
Maybe if it passes at that point, you can show progress
Right.
that way. That's what I was thinking.
We use the site for that. They use when the Minden.
Yeah, we're using the town page for that.
Oh, all right, okay.
And create a whole folder and pictures and,
All right, then we don't.
We got to follow this
Then we don't.
yeah.
project.
And if we get, perhaps I'll help Nick take monthly pictures, like maybe with a drone and everything. He does a good job with it, yeah.
We can still put.
He does a really good
information on
job.
it,
The
but
pictures are
the
really
cover
good.
page will be the primary one.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
The
You
only,
guys have anything?
the only other thing is that I talked to Elena to get a source. I'm thinking that we're gonna get posters, yard signs. I want to get those around town. get them out and about.
A couple hundred made.
Get a couple hundred made, get the frames made, get those out. I asked her to take an idea of what would be catchy phrase on it. And she still likes the shark idea, which we used. with the
Although
shark.
we need a bigger boat.
We need a bigger boat and a shark fighting it. And she thought about it in a unique way. She'd have a sign, senior center, community center, then halfway through April, put the shark tail on it with the bike. So people look at it more than once. If you see a sign, you don't look at it the second time. So you changed it.
We're doing like the vote yes sign or something like that.
Yeah, it is, but I also said, it's more of a, I need your help. It's really not a vote. This vote yes stuff, I just ignore a lot of that stuff.
We probably want to check with Ellen about how we gonna fund it.
Yeah, we'll figure out.
Yeah.
Either it's friends or
Just to make
private
sure we're not-
donations, we'll figure something.
Deal with any ethics violation.
And you really like, to me, I'd like to really say it's your senior and community center.
It is.
It's not it's yours.
So I think that's a piece that we're gonna try to get together so we can, I know we can't do it until the beginning of April. But that'll be fast track.
What can't be done?
Signs, I thought.
So political signs as far as campaigns, I don't know if that's considered. And actually, there's a whole thing,
There is, it's a
Well,
vote.
enlighten us.
well, there's a whole thing about rules around political signs in communities, and it's not, like, the bylaws are not,
Friendly.
no, legit, like, they're not enforceable. Right, like, they're not.
He's
even though there's a
laughing.
Sign bylaw about political signs, there's case law that says that it's right, like, you can't. There's even rules about, we have, I think a lot of it comes down to consideration, and that's is what we want in the community, and everybody always follows. But was this whole thing I was talking to somebody about. Case law out there that, about how we don't put political signs, and if Mike and I were running against each other personally, that you don't put it on town property. But there's actually no rule that you can't, right? So it becomes more of, we just don't do that. And but having, again, like our law being that you can't put political signs out till a certain day holds no teeth.
All right, let me go back for that for a second, because we were thinking of, we've got like a billboard outside the senior center, but the senior center is town property. So we were gonna say, be sure, we weren't gonna say vote for it, we were gonna say, be sure you vote.
Well, I don't think that putting something on that sign saying that there's an election coming up or something to remind people to go to the date is, I think that's totally fine.
What the senior center.
But I will also say, something like that. I don't know if we want to speak in positive or negative to it. It probably more just make sure
Make sure you go
you
there.
go vote at the annual town meeting, blah, blah, blah. But the signs, I will say that we also don't want to put signs out early because then they just become part of the landscape and everybody forgets. You want to put signs out really, trickle some out, but then do a push just before the actual day of the annual town meeting.
I think that's why Elena was thinking about switching it up so it does, it catches your eye again a second time when she talked about putting a shark on it.
Yeah, put a shark on it. Sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So your point, right? You don't put it out, you just drive by them after a while.
And there's no contested seats for anything,
This,
because that's gonna be a lower turnout too. No one's.
What, a
running.
ballot? So there may be for planning board, 2 people running. It's just, who's running for select board? You,
Morale and Brendan.
that's right, Mariah and Brendan's and nobody else pulled,
I
right?
don't think so.
That was, what was the deadline?
It's the 26th.
They're still getting signatures.
Oh, the 26th.
Help is on.
Oh, so that's 14 more, that's 2 weeks.
You might be folded in the
Not a chance.
Wait a minute.
That's why you came to the meeting tonight, huh? So, but anyway, we're looking at signs. That's good advice, though, for people who put the signs up and get elected. And you're elected, you've been elected, you guys. But Elena's idea, I'm gonna talk to her. If she can look creative ideas, blend her into the communication team. And we'll figure out a funding source for it. That doesn't break a rule, but I don't think it's not a political thing. I don't think it's political.
Well, it depends what you put on
Would
it.
you consider this type of thing in the category of political versus?
Where it's on a ballot, it might be
So
It depends on
I
it's informational, maybe not, but
Look, at signs are not expensive, so if we have some money somewhere that's not town money,
probably the best thing.
it's
to
the
do.
better way to go.
That's
No matter-
what
I mean, even if it's. I can't imagine well, 200 signs, is a lot of signs.
Probably $1,000 for 200.
But you know, that's a lot of signs. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's an extreme amount.
Yeah.
I mean, most, so like.
They're all going on North Ave.
100 to 100.
Way up.
We can only
Well, some of them, we have people,
put on the next day.
Yeah, yeah.
they gotta buy 200 thank yous now. I know it's.
No, not necessarily. You usually get like a quarter. Cause you just put them strategically. You don't want to put it.
No.
Yeah, you take the
Then you
down.
bring them up. It's just a nightmare. So, I mean, I would truly start with 100 signs.
Yeah.
And then if we find out that they're flying off the shelf, then,
Yeah.
okay, then we can order another 100, because they're gonna come quick.
They turn, yeah.
Yeah, so, 200 is a lot. It is an extreme.
Okay, so we'll go with 100.
That's just my opinion, sorry.
I can.
We can't return them, we can always ask for more.
And then I understand you need to buy the stakes. Do you gotta buy the stakes?
Generally, they come with.
Yeah, they come with everything.
They're just those metal things in
Yep.
it.
Hey,
Can
stick in the ground.
That's cheap.
we turn them around and put rock the block or something?
That's what front run.
Okay, so that's another piece we need to get out there. And I think it's really carrying the message. When I'm meeting people at BVT's athletic awards thing, I meet people in town who have kids in school, talk to them. And we want their support, you expect them there and go out and get them. It's really a drag them to the polls, drag them to the town hall.
We'll put the leash bar on there, if you want, that'll drag a whole lot.
Oh, that place will be packed. Leash store and roosters.
Yeah.
We have
Do
to,
we even have?
How about
No, that's the thing.
roosters on leashes? That'll really.
so, yeah.
Oh, I saw the chicken show up that.
The rule was if you wanted to get a turnout at the annual town meeting, put the leash bar on. But, and
Everybody will show
everyone's
up.
always been, very,
Years ago, it worked.
yeah, I know, remember?
You guys are unbelievable. Okay, what else we
Okay,
got?
that's all I have.
Yeah, let's go to the next one. I think, more good ideas keep them flowing. The status of invoices paid. We've, used up our dollars on the engineering. And also the dollars on the, Mike Petrovic. 15,000 to Mike, 3 or 4 invoices have been, one's in the process of being done. D&L has been paid for 11,240, I believe. We had a budget of 35,000. In your packet, I have a request for a change order to Petrovic to get more artistic renderings done. And also have him on a consulting basis, because he's delivered what he's going to deliver. We have a detailed estimate. We have the signs, we have the diagrams. I'd like to have him for 24 more hours and heavy presence at the town hall meeting. So I'm looking to, in your packet, you're looking to spend another $5,000,
What have we got as a balance right now?
9,400 and something. It would still return,
110, but I'm. okay.
yeah, 10,000. So we'd still be returning roughly just under 5,000 back to the town. I don't see anything else we're going to spend it on.
Well,
But
how-
use that for the last, use that for the
You're
last,
talking about having Mike be at the annual town meeting?
yes.
Yes.
And 20 hours of consulting to help with the FAQs. Professional artistic renderings to put up rather than my cut and paste and stretching.
I think he's already worked over his money that we allotted him. That's my opinion, with the phone calls that we're giving him all the time.
Do we have him do all the poster boards, actual size ones and everything?
Yeah, I think we don't have to go, we're within our budget, so all we need to do here, I think, is approve that.
Make it the motion to do that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mike heard the fire station a couple meetings ago, so I'm sure he's gonna stay close.
Let's keep it booked in for now.
Let's keep it. Yeah, he and John have done a nice job for us, and I think this last push, we could use a little more. Okay. What else do we have here? Grants and other funding, I haven't heard back from the Collins Center. Have you heard back from that guy we talked to? Yeah.
I got a call with Sarah on a different topic tomorrow morning, so I can,
Would you?
Yeah.
I pinged him, but I'm gonna. Okay.
You're gonna ask him for an update, is that what you're?
Mark will be back, he's, away, but a lot of his, grants and things that, because we're doing piecemeal, we need a project to assign it to. So we really need to get through the town. But we will have a list of grants we're chasing. Mike Morelli mentioned something about he tapped on one of the, Congress people or representatives to get some funds for.
Well, we put earmarks in to the annual process for some funding around ADA work associated with the senior center and building in the emergency management aspect of it. So he's looking here, I want to say 200,000 is what it was, something like that. So we put a couple items out there. I think we have 3 items to our congressman. 1 or 2 of them are associated, could be tied back to senior center.
And I don't know if you talked to Fatman to get him.
Yeah, again, that's more after approval for the next round.
Okay.
But yes.
Okay. I think we just need to, one of the things we need to do over the next 3 weeks is try to really look at scope of grants and possible funding that will offset some of this debt long term. We're gonna go after the money, and it's gonna be a debt for us, but we need to see if we can soften that load and put a full court press on that. I'm even looking to friends and people I know in town who might want to be interested in helping write grants. We don't have a focus on grants.
I think the grants will be more supplement because you can't really offset it. Once you get the bond, it is what it is. If anything, you can pay it off a year earlier, right? A year earlier too, but that's 28 years down the road. You're gonna need things for the senior center. You're gonna need things.
Is it a good idea to hire someone to do the fundraising type thing? I know a lot
Giving
of,
grants.
yeah, well, unless somebody's really good at that. I don't know, I know they take a percentage.
Yeah, we don't know what's out there right now.
Even
That's
like
part of the
funding, I'm thinking of even funding in town, or if they contact people or businesses or things like that.
I guess we've had a couple, we haven't had a PA, a town administrator, and sometimes they're driving for us. I know Ann and Dan know their niche really well.
But I think fundraising and grants are 2 different animals though, right?
I'm thinking of primarily fundraising.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, it's gonna be different than grants.
I'm sorry.
That's what I'm thinking of.
No, you are right with the TA and grants. I mean, a lot of the grants information comes from collaborative meetings, the TA going to monthly meetings, hearing from their peers, get involved with peer groups. That's where that all comes from.
Did we hire anyone yet?
Okay. But I'm sorry.
Well, no, I'm just wondering
Funding,
if it's worth paying someone to do that.
Fundraiser?
Yeah.
I think we're too late in the game for that.
Yeah,
To bring us, we could get money to support the place, but not to bring the dough down.
Yeah, I think once you get it, maybe that might be the time.
well, I trust you because you.
To find certain projects for it, if once we get the numbers in and, because these are still preliminary numbers, you're gonna stick to that 13.2. But something may come about, like we did when we hit, ledge and we put it in a cistern, or we had to make a cut somewhere else, and now you have certain spots that contingencies can't cover. That might be a good time for fundraising grants. Make sure you don't have to cut things out of it. You're actually ahead of the game there more than we were, you prepared for it. We really weren't.
Because I don't really feel comfortable asking people for money if it hasn't passed yet. That's why I was thinking
Yeah.
it would be after.
Yeah, and you get to the problem with that too, the Friends of the Men and Police Association, there was money hanging around there for a decade.
I think one thing that hasn't been done as part of your communication, because FinCom went down this path in that meeting you were in. That is, what is the impact of the operational budget? I think I still haven't seen any details on what additional programming is being brought in for a space this size. Because the money is one aspect, but if you can justify increasing your taxes by demonstrating
Programs?
the programs, the benefit, and answering, and if we do diligence on operational budget impact, that puts a lot of questions to bed. If you hesitate on an answer to something like that, they're gonna think, boy, well, we haven't thought this through, right? Have we really thought this through? You can't tell me what the impact is? Come on.
We started down that path, we're just not there yet, but we gotta get that done for the first.
But I would say for your communication,
Yeah.
maybe your first audience may not ask that. I guarantee you, FinCom asked that.
I did.
I mean, they went right
We've
there.
got some general numbers coming, because we're talking about the well system, gonna cost us $3,500, we don't spend today. Starting to get data. Amy's given her current budget to me, we're looking at manpower, what that impact would be. And then you have size consideration. I want to go back to Mike and one of his assignment, the rationale, the efficiency in this building, you scale it up. I was gonna ask the chief, what does he do to clean his building here?
I think it's gonna be great numbers to have, but believe it or not, when we did the police station, I think one single person had what operations. I think I was the only one that
Like, and
was thinking about it, but it's great to have it, but if you need it.
the difference, Rob, for, you're building, what is this, double the size or triple? Double,
Yeah.
you're doubling the size, and the reason for it is you've outgrown it. You need to demonstrate how you're gonna fill that doubled size, whereas the police station, it's more, everyone knows what the police.
Well, some of the data I just got today, again this afternoon. If you take a look at our numbers from when we built the addition.
Yep.
We had 1,000 seniors in town.
Yep.
We're now at 17 or almost 1,800.
Yeah, 1775 is the
So we,
current number.
Current people using it, or current seniors in
Current
senior
users.
population?
So how it's-
How is the usage?
we got,
The usage is that for some programs, we've had to turn people away.
Amy,
Amy,
I'll be the devil advocate. I'll ask these
No,
questions. No, but it's.
Amy would know those numbers.
I would just say that,
We
so
don't-
I've heard, anecdotally, I've heard it.
Yeah.
We gotta put,
numbers.
quantify it now, because if you can say our senior population in town has doubled, whatever that is, and we are maxed, you're maxed at 1,000.